Okay, so good afternoon. To members of the news media here at the Fairfield Area Library and to residents and others watching online, thank you for joining for this update on the water crisis that has challenged our county and region for much of the past week. I'm Henrico County Manager John Vitolkis. I'm pleased to share the news that we've been waiting for. As of today, right now, Henrico County is lifting the Bull Water Advisory that has been in effect countywide since Wednesday, January the 8th. We're able to take this step and bring our community a little closer to normalcy based on results of tests to check the quality of water in our system. These tests were conducted with the Virginia Department of Health, and they looked at chlorine levels and, more critically, the presence of bacteria. Since we started testing Thursday night, our chlorine levels have been normal, and our 2 tests for bacteria in eastern Henrico have both come back negative. We received the second result just a short time ago. And these results confirm that Henrico County's water is clean and safe for consumption and use. Now, many people and organizations have played a vital role in getting us to this point. Now, before I start offering thanks, I want to address the residents, particularly those in eastern and central Henrico, who were without water for much of the week. We understand the inconvenience, frustration, concern, and fear that you faced. We sincerely apologize for what you've gone through. As a county, we must do better, and we will do better. That's my commitment to you, and it's shared by everyone from our Board of Supervisors to our staff. Now, I know, and I've had many conversations with the mayor and the other administrators in the region, I know the city will be performing a regional after-action analysis on what happened in the water treatment plant, and we, Henrico, will absolutely be part of that. Now, for Henrico, outside of that post-mortem, we will begin our own analysis on Monday of what happened on our end, in our county, and what we can do from an infrastructure standpoint to increase resiliency in the eastern portion of the county. This will be performed by an independent third party with expertise in utility systems. Now, please know that throughout this past week, you were never forgotten. There wasn't a moment when your county wasn't working to get water flowing back into your homes and businesses. I want to commend our staff in public utilities, particularly Bentley Chan's group, for just the Herculean effort that they underwent in very, very cold conditions overnight, and beyond all of the agencies that really stepped up to work around the clock to solve this issue and meet the needs of our community. To the employees, your dedication, compassion, and commitment to public service are humbling. I also want to thank the members of the Board of Supervisors who took an active role in making water deliveries and passing out water at pods that we had established throughout the county. I also must thank our regional and community partners. Collectively, we stepped up and worked side by side to solve this crisis. As a region, Henrico and Hanover helped Richmond restore operations at its water treatment plant. We stepped up and made bottled and potable water available to those in need. Others, like our YMCAs and public school system, they opened up their buildings to give residents a place to shower and freshen up. This is what a community does. It cares and responds to help others in their time of need. Now, for a little perspective, and for those watching online, I would like to briefly recap the events of the past week. Beginning with the weekend storm that closed our schools and led to flooding and a loss of power at the city's water treatment plant. That alone disrupted water service in the county because Henrico and Richmond share the region's water resources under a landmark agreement that dates back many, many years, 40-plus years. With the city's plant out of commission, our residents started losing water late Monday. And those problems worsened through Tuesday morning. We had a peak of more than 24,000 customers that were without water. We needed to act. So we proactively disconnected from the city's water system over that night and thought we could route water across the county from our treatment facility on Three Chopped Road. Now that proved to be extremely difficult. Working in frigid weather, our crews crisscrossed the county, making careful adjustments to valve after valve in our water system. And those efforts were further complicated by a water main break in Sandston. Now, how to ensure that does not happen going forward from an engineering and capital project standpoint will absolutely be part of this after-action report that I mentioned earlier. We declared a state of local emergency, which allowed us to act quickly, and we began providing bottled and potable water to impacted communities. I have some statistics for you as we close out as far as the magnitude of that. On Wednesday, as the city's pumps began to repressurize the entire system, the Virginia Department of Health issued a boil water advisory for eastern Henrico. Recall, day one, there was no boil water advisory because we thought we could get that system back up. The second day that we didn't have water, the Virginia Department of Health really had no opportunity to do anything other than issue that boil water advisory. We recognized then that we needed to issue a similar advisory countywide because, again, our water system and Richmond's are connected, and we couldn't be sure where water would go as pressure returned to the system. By late Thursday, service had been restored to our neighborhoods, and pressure was strong enough for us to begin the series of water quality tests. Now, finally and gratefully, we have the results and can lift the advisory. So from all of that, I hope that you can see our county's absolute and unwavering commitment to our residents in protecting the health, safety, and welfare of our community. That, of course, is our greatest responsibility as a local government. At this time, I'd like to pass the mic to our board chair, Reverend Tyrone Nelson.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Good afternoon, everyone. When I last spoke at our press conference on Wednesday afternoon, I said that we were starting to see some light. And as the manager just shared, I too am very thankful and very relieved to be able to say that we have reached the end of the tunnel and that the light is bright. As the manager just said, water service has been fully restored to all Henrico residents and is safe to use straight from the tap. No boiling required. I know that many persons have been sitting around waiting to hear that announcement so that they could move forward. I'm gratified for the thousands of residents in Varina and Fairfield who woke up Tuesday morning to find that there was no water in their homes and who now can be assured that their water is both safe and reliable. As I shared with you Wednesday, many of you who have been following me on social media, you know that I too was one of the persons who woke up Tuesday morning to no water and was so glad that it was restored on Thursday. I am gratified that all of our residents across the county can put away those boiling pots and resume their water, using their water without giving it a second thought. The health, safety, and welfare of our residents is the primary principal responsibility and paramount concern, not just this county, but of its Board of Supervisors, and I'm gratified that we have reached this point. Let me pause here and let you know, because throughout the duration of this process, our Board of Supervisors has been very active. Today with me, our Vice Chair represents the Brooklyn District. Mr. Dan Smith is here at the press conference with us, as well as Miss Misty Roundtree, who represents the Three Chop District and has been at all of the press conferences and has been out in the community doing all kinds of stuff this week. Supervisor Jody Rogish could not be with us today, but he too has been very engaged and active. And Reverend Roscoe Cooper, whose district was majorly impacted, the Fairfield district, has been, since the first minutes that we've heard about this, has been super engaged in the community and on social media and with his residents throughout this time. Again, I'll say that this has been difficult, frustrating, especially for the residents in Fairfield and Verona, but you have looked out for each other. You gained strength from each other, and we came through this together. So I want to thank you for your patience. And please know that we saw you, we heard you, we will continue to hear you throughout this crisis. Not just myself, but my colleagues, our leadership, and our staff. I do want to thank a few people because over the past 5 days, a lot of tireless work and relentless effort have been given by many people to get to this point. As a reminder, the water boil advisory is over with, and so that is the main piece. But we would not have gotten to this place of water flowing safe and clean again if it had not been for the support of many persons who are part of our community. From our public utilities crews working in freezing temperatures in the middle of the night, to our police officers and firefighters doing some of the heavy lifting at our water distribution sites, to our staff from multiple departments who operated the hotline call center around the clock 24 hours, to the leaders of the Emergency Operations Center who organized and coordinated everything. Several of our leaders are in this room. If it wasn't for them, we would not be here. We have witnessed a commitment to the task at hand and a deep concern for providing the best service possible for our residents and neighbors. Finally, let me share a few examples of what we have done. Our water distribution site distributed more than 140,000 cases of bottled water, approximately 120,000 gallons from water tankers. Water was delivered to nearly 1,000 private homes when residents couldn't make it to sites on their own. At last count Friday morning, the hotline call center had taken more than 7,000 calls. I'm sure that number has increased significantly since yesterday. So again, on behalf of the Board of Supervisors, I want to thank all of the employees, all volunteers who share their time, their talents to serve this community. And like I said Wednesday, I am glad to be a part of this team that cares. Before we close out, do you guys have questions? I'm going to ask Bentley Chan, our Director of Public Utilities, to come and speak to that. One thing I will say is that I know because we get water from the city, there are things in place that cause us to have to go out to the facility and do routine check-ins, et cetera. And so that does happen. I'll let him speak to the specificity of it. But I will say that since Monday, after this happened, we've had people working very diligently from public utilities. One of our deputy county managers, Steve Yob, has been there and really been integral in the system getting back up in general. And so I don't know, Bentley, if there's anything different you want to share.
Thank you, Reverend Nelson. So just some additional information. Not only has Henrico Public Utilities staff been a presence at the City of Richmond's water treatment facility to help with not only the recovery, but to see through this most recent storm as of last night, to make sure that everything continued to work, continued to flow, and to provide any assistance that is needed should anything happen. I will also say Henrico has telemetry from the city's system, and that's how we monitor what's going on, and that's how we had at least a little bit of foreknowledge that something was amiss at their plant. And so right when we knew that the pressure had dropped significantly on their side, we started pulling water over and filling our tanks. It's just that it happened so suddenly that there wasn't enough time to fully react.
So is that a yes or no that you guys, is that a yes or a no that you guys have been there prior to the first storm to see if those redundancies?
So our staff is not placed at the City of Richmond's facility. It's the City of Richmond's facility.
Is that something that you guys may try to change moving forward to make sure, since you guys as a county do rely on them so heavily for water?
So absolutely. The team that we sent over, and we've had conversations with their leadership in that, hey, let's make sure that in the event that there is an emergency, like a storm, we know that your system is maybe fragile and needs assistance. We are more than happy to send staff out to assist. All right, thank you.
All right, any other questions? Yeah, I do want to make sure that I do. And the manager mentioned we've been getting water from the city of Richmond for decades. And, I said this Wednesday, it's my first time, 14 years, my 14th year on the board. We've never had anything happen like this before. I know the city has identified some issues. We are doing our own individual assessments of what we're doing in Henrico. There's going to be a regional assessment of what happened and what we need to do going forward. I'm confident that with our team here, we're going to be fine going forward. And so, again, thank all of you who are watching on live stream. And I hope that we don't have to do any more press conferences as it relates to this subject. Enjoy your clean water. Okay, one more thing. Sorry.
So just one additional comment. We've gotten some questions online about, well, what do you do now that the boil water advisory has been lifted? And just we wanted to do some clarifications and get some information out there. So in our media post, we have directed residents to a document that VDH has, and we've also provided some of those suggestions in our post. But what residents should see now that the advisory is lifted, they should be able to go back to their normal water usage. They may see some kind of cloudiness in the water, and we talked about this previously. And that cloudiness is just due to the weather and little bubbles of air. And so once like kind of going from really cold to really warm, and so once that dissipates, the water should be clear and safe to drink. You may get a little bit of mineralization because the pipes have been sitting without water, and so we would ask that just flush your system from the highest point to the lowest point to just get that out. And as water clears, it is absolutely safe to use. And then, yes, again, there is a VDH guidance document that we have reposted. Please see that. But also, if you have any questions during this time, call us at 501-4275 during normal business hours. And if you have any utility emergencies, please call us after hours at 501-5025. Thank you.